We in war. We've been in war, physically and astrally. They've been attacking the consciousness, but more importantly, they've been attacking our perception on what it means to be masculine, on what it means to be feminine. And this distortion has got us thinking we got to be on an opposite end of the spectrum. We got to be this or be that, keeping us unaware to the fact that we hold both feminine and masculine energy within all of us. And that's the importance, is understanding the energetics. So how they've been attacking us: high sugary diets, hormone altering food, hypersexual perceptions and entertainment, and also putting figures that they tell us to look up to and say, this is what it means to be masculine. This is what it means to be feminine. And so for us to start changing this, for us to start truly tapping into that divine masculinity, into that divine femininity, it starts with stopping allowing these external factors to dictate our perception of what it means to be a masculine, of what it means to be a feminine. And it's once we start to bring this energy towards inner exploration that we can begin to bring that cohesiveness between masculine and feminine and start to move into flow. So that's the lore for today's video. All right. And why do I bring this up? Two reasons. One, we're transitioning into winter. Now, coupled with that is one of the major transitions that we are going through right now. Now, if you don't know anything about it, check out the most recent videos. And I just did a live on how to master this transition that we're going through. And with these energies that are going on, it comes that death, right? That winter brings that death, that inner retreat, that rebirth, and that exploration, right? Those very darker energies, right? For things to change, we must go inward so that we can see what's going on, so that it can rise, right? And you can see it happening right now, both microly and microcosmically, right? Or macrocosmically, right? So things are rising so that we can, see the shadows start to reveal themselves, right? So that we can now release them. And from my experience and just, the divine universal experience, the best way to experience and to make sure that this healing journey can be as smooth as possible, to the extent that, however, smooth as possible any healing journey can be, because, we go through bumps, rises, left, ups, downs, right? It requires that feminine aspect of flow, but also that masculine aspect of courage, perseverance, and strength. And so that's why I'm creating this video. That's why you're here right now, which thank yourself for being here. Truly, truly. Just take a moment. Gratitude. Right? So let's get into it. Right? And I want to make this as simple as possible, okay? So I've created 5 pillars, 5 of them, right? And it's from personal experience. I know there's probably more. So y'all let me know in the comments if y'all have any more thoughts and experience on, bringing that balance between the masculine and the feminine, okay? So these 5 pillars are discipline, willpower, love, detachless compassion, and excitement, okay? Now, the first one I want to get into is willpower. Why willpower? Because willpower is connected with our solar plexus energy, okay? And that is the energy that dictates our action here in this physical existence, right? So what has happened, as I was mentioning, is how we've been attacked is through that hypersexuality, right? Your Pornhub, all them other different entertainments, the low vibrational food, and the different figures and things like that in the entertainment industry. So what's going on is all those things are literally taking a 50 caliber and sniping our ambitions. It's keeping our brain at this very surface level centered, using our desires to keep us a slave to our desires. And so what happens is a man with no ambition, with no passion, gets caught up in the systematic ways of this matrix, leaving one to think that life is meaningless. But what has happened is, because of the noisy, mind, it leaves one blind to the eyes to see one's passion and one's purpose. So how do we find it? Right?
So, you're looking to start your healing arc. Well, you came to the right place. You've been asking, is there more to this life? How do I find this more? What is this more? And all those answers that you seek, that your soul is searching for, is found within. I myself asked those very same questions, and it was the chakras that helped me answer these questions. But why in the world would you want to dive into the chakras? What are chakras and how does this help me heal? Well, it's understanding one of the basic laws of the universe, which is everything is vibration, meaning everything is energy. And these chakras act as the energy centers within inside our body. And it's when we begin to understand both the external energetics, but recognizing that the external energetics is influenced by our internal energetics, that being the chakras, that we start to put the influential power back in our hands. Because you see, what has happened is we've lived this life being influenced by external modalities, systems, and programmings that have confined not only our mental, but our energetic systems. So in this chakra course, we dive through the main 7 chakras, exploring how they connect to our external environment, allowing for us to transcend through the lower conscious states into higher conscious states through healing and evolving through each chakra. And it is through this that you find those inward answers, that you not only find your soul, but you remember your spirit. It starts by channeling this willpower energy towards desiring something new, towards desiring growth, towards desiring healing, towards desiring maybe a creative project, right? And so that creative project is starting to now blend, right? And the desire in general is starting to now blend that masculine and that feminine, because desire and creativity is a feminine aspect. But you use that willpower to take action based off that feminine, right? Based off that creative energy. And so that's one way you could start channeling your femininity and masculinity towards healing, towards growth. And so this brings me into detachless compassion, right? And why I say detachless compassion is because we're moving into winter, bro. And we're also in a major transition. So the energies are going to be heavy. The emotions are going to be heavy. And so we have to operate in this almost observation of things without getting attached. Because what happens is, if we get attached to our emotions, or if we get attached to our thoughts, what happens is we can be feeling, sadness, right? And we all go through sadness, especially, we got that, what you call winter depression, right? So if we get attached to that, what happens is now we're feeling that sadness, but because of that attachment, the mind now is being used as a self-destructing mechanism to bring us deeper and deeper and deeper into that darkness, right? So why I say detaches compassion is because we do go through mental suffering, bro. And especially for my masculine out there, I know society tells us not to feel shit. I know society tells us, to bunker that shit down, sweep it under the subconscious rug. But that's not how things get. That's not how things get healed. That's not how things get, start to evolve. So why I bring up detaches compassion is because it's important for us to feel these things, but without attaching to the mental perceptions that, oh, this is gonna, ruin my day, it's gonna ruin my life, or, use the mind to bring us deeper, but to allow ourselves to have compassion for ourselves, to understand where we are energetically and not try to force ourselves out of it, because that energy, those emotions are energy emotion, right? And that motion is carrying information that's trying to relay a message to you. So if we can be willing to have compassion for ourselves in the dark times, in the difficult times, we can take that moment, take that breath, to see what our energy is trying to tell us without getting attached, right? Right? The same way that you can get attached to your thoughts or choose to not attach to your thoughts and observe them. The same way you can, allow your emotions to flow rather than letting your emotions dictate your actions. And that's important,
because it's not normal to feel your emotions 24/7, but it's also important that you don't allow your emotions to constantly dictate your actions, but to move from a compassionate level of emotional intelligence. And that's why I feel emotion or compassion is that feminine aspect that helps the masculine kind of calm down a bit. Help the masculine not try to force yourself out of things, but to take a moment to slow down and be more in tune with your emotions, become more emotionally intelligent. And now a flip side to being detached compassion is being able to see other people's perspectives, in the sense that people may come to you, or maybe you have completely different opinions about certain things. With compassion, you can use your emotional intelligence to see where another person is at consciously. And so, with your compassion and your emotional intelligence, you can navigate through a conversation without getting emotionally attached to your ideas and get you all wrapped up and hyped up trying to attack them egotistically, but to articulate yourself from a point of view that is centered in your emotional intelligence, in your emotional foundation and knowing of self. So that's how I feel the power of compassion can help cohesively bridge that masculine and feminine, right? So the next thing gets me into discipline, right? Discipline, okay? So I know for some people watching this right now, you may be coming off no discipline, right? And what I want to say is, if you've watched my other videos and you've been trying to get into, the things I've mentioned, I highly suggest just starting with one. Just starting with one. Just one, right? You're not missing out on anything, nothing at all. Just start with one. Why I say one is because, and I've learned this from my experience, when you try to put too much things on yourself, it hurts you in the long run. And why I bring up discipline is because it goes back to that attacking. When we have gone our whole lives with a mind that has constantly been influenced by the external, our mind is only dictated by the fleeting flux of what this illusion tells us. So discipline helps us fortify our mind and start to tap into that channeling energy, going back to that willpower. When we begin to practice discipline, right? You say you start that one thing, and I would preferably say let it be something healing, right? Some meditation, some journaling, some yoga, or working out, right? Let it be that one thing, okay? And when we do that, we are now starting to channel our energy towards one thing, which helps us practice channeling our energy in the first place, which gets me why I said do one thing, because you are now practicing channeling your energy, right? That's the art of discipline, is channeling your energy towards that one thing. And so when we can do that consistently, right, we begin to fortify our mind, in the sense that, while you're channeling your energy, you're also going through, flows, fluxes of life. But if you can constantly, even in the midst of a dark moment, or even in the midst of maybe you're out of town, you still find a way to work out, you still find a way to journal, you still find a way to meditate, that is helping you build that discipline, which is very important in a time right now where our desires are being thrown back at us to try to get us into lower conscious states, right? And a multitude of other things that try to get our mind out of discipline, right? And so this also goes for my creative. As a creative myself, I know I have many ideas. I want to do a lot of things. I want to, do everything. But you can't. You can't do everything. So we have to, actually, I'll take that back, bro. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You can do anything, bro. I don't want to put no limitations, right? But what I'm saying is, we have to have discipline in the sense where we're aware of where we're putting our energy, and we have to have discipline not to stretch ourselves too thin, right? That's important, because if we stretch ourselves too thin, my boy Guido, he had this saying, and I believe it came from his guru, Sri M. If you dig one hole, then stop and go dig another hole, then dig another hole, then dig another hole, then you don't reach water because you're too busy trying to dig other holes. But if you stayed with that one hole in the beginning and you kept on digging, you would reach water, right? So that's the power of discipline. And I feel it goes into your more masculine aspect, because that masculine is that perseverance, that right? But for all my feminines out there, I feel like discipline is also important for any feminine. Whether you're a business owner, whether you're going to college, you got homework or anything like that, I feel like it's important because it's necessary to have a mind that's not constantly being dictated by, oh, what about this, what about this happened or that happened, and stuff like that, right? And so the next pillar is love, right? And I feel like love just speaks for itself, and this kind of goes into compassion, but it's recognizing the energy of the heart, right? The energy we hold as the alchemizer, right? That heart chakra is the bridge from the lower chakras to the higher chakras, okay? And why it's the bridge is because it acts as that alchemizer. It acts as that ability to transmute that darkness, right? To come from those lower conscious states and bring us right into those higher conscious states. So what is alchemizing? It's understanding, and this is why, fortifying our mind, getting to know our soul is important, because when we realize that we are the dictators of our mental suffering or of our peace, we realize the power we have in choice. And so that's what alchemization is. It's the choice to choose to transmute any lower vibratory state into a higher conscious perspective or energy. And there's multiple practices that we've mentioned here on the channel to do that. And so why I mention love is because, like I said, we're going through a shift. We're going through winter, and it's going to get dark. But also, the ability to love yourself is like the main foundation. To love your weirdness, to get to know your darkness, to get to know all parts of yourself is important for you to love all of yourself, because that's wholeness. That's what helps you bring that balance between all parts of yourself, right? So love is I feel like I don't even need to talk about love, but I need to talk about love because it's a reminder to show love to yourself, even in darkness, right? And so also love is receiving, right? And what I mean by this just gets me into that feminine aspect, is like, allow yourself to receive the gifts, to receive the abundance, right? Love is at the top of the vibrational scale, right up there with authenticity, right? So love is allowing yourself to receive love, and love can manifest into gifts. Love can manifest into monetary things, a conversation that changes your perception, that helps you heal, right? Like you watching this video, I love you, okay, right? Love is that powerful force, and I definitely feel like it plays on that feminine energy, because if anything, when it comes to manifestation, you definitely need to embody that feminine aspect of receiving. And I feel like when it's rooted in love, when you start to go through that journey and really let your receiving of the monetary physical abundance be rooted in love, it's just so much more prosperous, right? And so the last thing is excitement, right? Excitement, okay? And so this gets me into everything we just talked about, okay? So thought is that masculine energy, that generator, right? And then emotion is that feminine energy, that feeling and projecting energy. So when you have thought plus emotion, right, and you excited, I'm talking about like you feel it in your being, and like it makes you want to dance, it makes you want to get up here and talk about it to anybody that's watching. When you excite that energy, it's like a pulse, bro. It radiates through your electromagnetic field, and that's how things are birthed. How I look at it is like the thought is the masculine, the man, right? The emotion is the feminine, right? Man and woman create a kid, and that kid is the excitement, right? Like think about what it feels like to bring a kid. I know my target audience, I feel like is people my age, right? So y'all not thinking about having kids right now, but if you ever seen a kid born, or if you ever, your parents talk about what it was like to have you born and things like that. So like that's that excitement. It's scary, it's unknown, right? Because it's taking you to new energy, right? But it's exciting. And so I also feel excitement is important through this energy right now, because it's important to remember that we are in the greatest time of mankind, bro. The greatest time of mankind. So while you may be going through your healing journey, while you may be going through darkness, know it holds purpose. It holds purpose so that you can begin to embody your role in this shift. Because if you are seeing this right now, you have a role in this shift that we are going through. Okay?
So that's my 5 pillars, all right? Like I said, let me know in the comments your experience or your thoughts or anything that helps you, cohesively bring that balance of masculine and feminine energy. And remember, that's what's needed throughout this, shift and evolution that we're going through. It's that flow, right? To flow with your being, to flow with what you're seeing, and know it's trying to teach you something. Know it's trying to show you something, all right? Thank you so much for joining me here. All right. If you guys wish to support, you already know what to do. You already know what to, I ain't even gonna say, right? What I mean, you just go ahead and do it, all right? All right, my name is Mark Anthony. This is Elevated Talk, and welcome to the Cosmic Show. Peace to the ancestors.